Greetings, redheads. Thank you for joining me in another edition of your favorite show, the one, the only Reds View. Of course, I am your gracious host, the one, the only J Red. Thank you for joining me. I went live for a second, but I had to update some things for the YouTube. It's a whole process when you go live. You want to make sure that you get as much viewership as possible. So I didn't even edit the video on YouTube. So for those who saw me live for like a quick 15 seconds, that's the reason I went out and came back real quick. But anyway, man, thank you everybody for joining me. I haven't done a YouTube broadcast in a minute. If you follow the channel, I've just been putting out recordings that have been doing extremely well, especially across social media platforms. So make sure that you join me tonight. Make sure you hit the like button. That's what I want you to do right now. Hit the like button if you're watching right now, whether on Facebook or on YouTube. Also, you can hit the dislike button if you want to. It is what it is, as long as we get some traction up in this thing. And also join the chat. The chat goes live, and then I'll try to answer as many questions and also show as many comments as I can and respond to them. I like this to be an interactive showcase, so make sure that you join in on it. So we got a lot to talk about, especially, of course, the Diddy stuff. Make sure, if you have not already, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, which is youtube.com/ResView. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Shout out to all the subscribers that have subscribed to my latest podcast with CJ. AKA Animal Brown, called Who Gave You a Podcast. If you haven't checked it out, go and check out Who Gave You a Podcast. It's the hottest podcast besides Resview on YouTube and social media as we speak. So anyway, man, let's go ahead and get into it. All right. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. I had to go live tonight to talk about this, and I hope all of y'all join me for this live broadcast tonight to speak on this. I told y'all that Diddy would beat this Rico, aka Frico case. I told you that. If you've been following my channel, I haven't been an advocate for what Diddy has done. I haven't been an advocate for the person that Diddy is, but I have been an advocate for racial injustice. I have been an advocate for Black liberation. I have been for that. You say, here I go. Oh, yeah. Thank you for joining me. And I got to call you out. Exactly. I told you I was coming in. I was going to call everybody out. So I told y'all. I told you, man, for the people who've been, joining me like Kia just now, the people who talk to me all the time, the people who follow this channel, you already know how I felt about this situation from the jump. Do I think that Diddy is a bad person? Yes. Do I think that he's one of the scums of the earth when it comes to abuse and all this? Yes. But what did he go to trial for? What did he go to trial for? For all of you people who are on the bandwagon, you had to be a very naive, dumb, slow fool to think that Diddy wasn't going to beat this Rico case. Now, of course, he got charged. Well, he got found guilty. Let's look at the whole thing. Let's look at it. All right. He got found guilty, I know, of prostitution, but I want to put everything in proper context. All right. So look at this. So charges against Sean Diddy Combs. Here's the verdict. Count 1, racketeering conspiracy, not guilty. Count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, not guilty. Count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution, guilty. Count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, not guilty. Count 5, transportation to engage in prostitution, guilty. Now, a lot of people were rejoicing on social media. The narrative switched. It's been very interesting to see everybody's reaction to it, from celebrities to regular everyday people. But I predicted that he was gonna walk. I thought he was gonna walk. Now, did he walk? No, but he did. A lot of people thought he was gonna walk today, as far as coming out of jail and be free until his sentencing. Now, his bail, he proposed, or his family proposed, $1 million bail earlier today. The judge denied it. So the judge has denied Diddy's bail. So Diddy will have to remain in jail behind bars until October 3rd, I believe. I think it's October 3rd. And that's when he will receive his sentencing. If you ask me, I think that this is strategic. I think that they still want to make an example out of him. I think it's racism. They could have let that man go free today, but they're going to hold him in jail. And then by the time October 3rd comes for the prostitution, they're gonna wipe that off. They're going to count this as time served. He's been in jail since September of last year. So when September rolls around this year, he would have been in jail for a whole year, which is unconstitutional for him, for his sake. But he'll be in jail a whole year coming in September. So I believe that once his sentencing comes up, now, if they're going to be showing the huge racism and go all the way in, then they're going to give him, I think, the maximum for the prostitution charge is like 20 years. I don't see Diddy doing that. I don't see Diddy doing any time. But I think that they're going to hold him in jail up until October 3rd, and then they're going to release him with time served. That's my prediction. But I want to talk about, first off, how the narrative has changed. So I've seen a lot of people talking about some, hey, where the Diddy party at? When it was first announced that he beat the RICO case, everybody took to social media and was just rejoicing, like, oh yeah, Diddy did. I'm like, ain't y'all the same people who were just running around saying no Diddy, making fun of all the freaky stuff and all this other stuff? What it shows me is that fans are fickle, people are fickle, because now everybody's back on Diddy's nuts. No Diddy. It's real crazy how all this is, because I'm thinking it was going to be this kind of outrage how everybody was acting. Now, it was some outrage, but most of the people that I've been seeing in the hip-hop community have been saying, hey, it is what it is. Shout out to Diddy. Da, 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 da. So one thing that I want to address is for all the people who feel like Diddy should have been locked up. He should have been found guilty. This was a weak case. This was a weak case from the start. All this wasn't about justice. This wasn't about the alleged abused victims. This wasn't even about Cassie. This was about Diddy being making an example of. That's ain't no if and buts about it. That's all that this was about. When you look at the details, the facts, see, they sold you on the whole him beating on Cassie thing, and nobody's vouching for that. But for everybody who had their thinking caps on, or just had pure common sense and was able to look at this case and then, criticize this case, critique this case, y'all were the main ones talking about some, oh, you must support Diddy. You must support the freak offs. You must be a part of it. No, you idiots. Most of y'all are idiots. I'm just gonna keep it above. Most of you are idiots. You lack common sense. You let the media control the narrative, and you don't think for yourself. You had them have this picture. Like, did it not make sense to you why they held on to a 2016 video of him beating on Cassie and then they just put it out randomly? Did you not sit and think about that? But y'all asses thought that he went to trial for that. That's not what he went to trial for. So all you ignorant people, come on in the comments. I want to see all the ignorant people, all the slow people. Some of y'all are just naive. Some of you are really just naive and don't like to pay attention to the facts and don't like to pay attention to the details. This was a black man being made an example out of simply because he won a racial discrimination lawsuit against the people who own Ciroc and DeLeon and all this. It's not that hard to read. It's not that hard to look that up. It was real simple. This was a smear campaign to make sure once he gets out of this situation that nobody ever wants to touch him again. Nobody ever wants to do any type of business with him again. That's all that this was. So all of y'all folks who spent so much time, all the fake Facebook lawyers and the Twitter lawyers, I want y'all to come up in here. Shout out to Ashley Carver. Yes, they're idiots. A lot of people are idiots. Zach Lucas, my brother. Yes, sir. Shout out to Janine Peterson. You said that judge should have let him out, period. This judge biased. He's mad because he did not get those other more serious charges. Amber Crombie got out and he was messing with boys. Wow. Yeah, exactly. So this was a smear campaign to make sure that nobody ever wanted to touch Diddy again. But I think it backfired because I'm seeing the hip hop community embrace him. If you think about it, Diddy was only locked up and had this case for what he rapped about. Now, I ain't gonna say the whole, semen on the nipple thing and all that other stuff, right? So, a lot of people were just like, I want Diddy to come out and just be openly gay and all this stuff. He ain't got to do none of that. Whatever that man does in his bedroom is his bedroom. But this should not have been no damn RICO case. And if you supported this RICO case, not condemning him for beating on Cassie and all this other stuff, right? That she already got her justice. She got a huge bag, right? But if you were on the bandwagon of, oh, he's just a bad person, they've been talking about this stuff about Diddy for years. For years. Okay. He ain't no saint. Of course, he's a bad person. All this stuff. What did he go on trial for? What did he go on trial for? This was nothing but a smear campaign. That's all that it was. So, but it's funny to see the narrative switch on some people who are on Diddy's side now. I know one thing, Charlemagne, you better be on your P's and Q's, because Charlemagne, all the stuff he was talking about, made it seem like he really wanted Diddy to go to jail. Every time somebody, even DJ Envy would just make valid points, Charlemagne, you got to look at this, how the jury's looking at it. The jury knew that this case was weak from the get-go. All it did, I stopped following it because all it did was just kind of make my stomach kind of churn a little bit, because, everybody got some freak in them, but everybody don't have Diddy type of freak in them. And that's what this showed us. All I felt like I was hearing was just a extreme porno or something like that. And I don't want to hear this, you know what I'm saying? Not for these Christian ears, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not judging Diddy for what he does in the bedroom or anybody who gave consent, because these were adults. Nobody was underage. Everybody gave consent for these freak offs, for the drugs that they took. All it sounded like was rich people were having a great time that people like me wouldn't even want to participate in. That's all that this was. So yeah, like, I'm calling out everybody, the people who were debating me back and forth, the people who were condemning everybody for simply just looking at it like, okay, this looks like a racist case. That's what this looks like. People do this all the time. What is sex trafficking? We had to define what sex trafficking is. Now, it is prostitution, rightfully so, of him, paying people to have sex, and that's illegal. But where are these OnlyFans models at? What do they do? Where are these former porn stars at? You know what I'm saying? Because you got some of these porn stars out here, I kid you not, I be on Twitter and I be seeing them. They have these prices and say, hey, I'm in your city, book me. And I'm like, okay, book you to do what? And then they actually do prostitution. I don't know how they get away with that, but they're porn, like people who, I ain't gonna say no names, but people who used to do porn, who will be in somebody's city. They'll travel out of town, be in somebody's city. You have to pay them to book them. And they don't say exactly what it is, but you know what it is. So is that not prostitution? It just blurs the lines of everything that's prostitution. But all of y'all fell for it. All of you idiots. Because I got so sick and tired of seeing people, like, especially, I ain't gonna lie, man. Some of y'all women, and some of you moist dudes and beta males, y'all should be on the donkey of the day for Charlemagne. Y'all need the biggest hee-haw. And see, a lot of y'all ain't gonna comment. You're not gonna comment. You were real loud and proud and all this other stuff. I seen some people talk, why are y'all so proud that Diddy walked? Well, not Diddy walked, but Diddy was found innocent. Because he was found innocent. And if you look at the facts, they didn't have anything. That's why. This was a black man at the end of the day, that the court system that you go out and protest against and all this other stuff, you support them with somebody you don't like. Stop falling for the okie dokes, black people. And I'm talking straight to black people on this. Straight to y'all. Quit trying to be these Instagram lawyers. Quit trying to be these Facebook lawyers and thinking that you know what you're talking about, because you're not talking about nothing. You don't know what you're talking about. So when it happens, some of these people are just like, oh, okay, he should just go to jail. He should go to jail. I feel sorry for the victims and all this. What victims? It's been proven that he didn't coerce anybody. All that's been proven is that he paid for sex. Now, that is illegal, but is that harming anybody? I didn't think so. And it blurs the lines. You shouldn't have jumped on this anyway, because for you women who get flued out, if you meet somebody on social media and the dude tells you, hey, I'll pay for everything, you just come over here and you know what we're going to do, that could be considered sex trafficking if you go along with the lines of what this is. What it is that a lot of y'all don't like Diddy. You like to see somebody who's black fall and crumble, because people hating is a dopamine. When you're a hater, it's a type of dopamine in your brain, because you like to see people fall from grace. Even if they ain't do nothing wrong, you like to see that so they can be at the bottom of the pit with you. And I'm not like that. Okay. Now, if Diddy was on trial for beating on Cassie and all this other stuff we seen in the video, I get it. I'd be like, okay, lock him up. But for this stuff, if y'all don't get your asses on somewhere with this, yes. And Ashley, let me say it again. Yes. No, you idiots. All of y'all, man. All of y'all. One person I want to give a shout out to though is Brian Steele. See, I knew that Diddy was going to beat this Frico case once I saw Brian Steele. For those who don't know who Brian Steele is, that is Young Thug's lawyer, his attorney that got him off in less than 9 months away, 9 months apart from each other, less than a year. Thug got off of his Rico and Diddy got off of his Rico. I knew Brian Steele once he was going to Diddy on Diddy's team. I knew it was a wrap. I said, okay, yeah. He wouldn't get on there if he knew that this wouldn't be a two-peat. He wouldn't get on there if he knew this wouldn't be a two-peat. Shout out to Joe, man. Uncle Joe. Yeah, crabs in a barrel. People like to see people fall from grace. This is dopamine. I'm serious. You like to see people. That's why when the whole Jay-Z thing came out, remember that 13, or like, well, it was a woman who said she was 13 and Diddy and Jay-Z R-word her. And at the VMAs or after the VMAs back in like the early 2000s, and like people were already, see, I knew something was wrong with Jay-Z and Beyonce. They got skeletons in their closet, and they proved it was cap. But y'all, it's the same people who just like to see black people who look like them fall from grace. And y'all talking about, I feel sorry. I saw some posts on Twitter today, like, justice for the women and all. This wasn't about justice at all. All this was to make it look like Diddy was a freaky ass dude that he is. That's all that I saw from it. I don't think he should have been locked up for nothing, for none of this stuff. I've heard rumors of what he's done that's way worse than this stuff. But yeah, the people, the parent company who owns DeLeon and Ciroc and all this stuff, they wanted to make an example out of Diddy, and they did a damn good job. And for those who supported this mess, man, I wouldn't want nothing to happen to me, but all of y'all fake anyway. All of y'all fake anyway. You're fickle. Diddy, now how does he move from here? How does he move from here? Like I said early in this video, what I said was I think that they denied the bond, of course, because of racism. But the other reason is so the time September comes around, time will be served. October comes around, time will be served. But what will Diddy do after this? Will Diddy continue his freakish ways? Like, will he continue to be outside like that, or will he lay low? Thank you for that like, by the way. Shout out to, I want everybody, if you're watching on Facebook, hit that like button. If you're watching on YouTube right now, we're having great dialogue. All I'm asking y'all to do is just hit the like button. I want everybody, it's people watching right now, just hit the like button because we got some more stuff to talk about. But anyway, if you look at what will happen with Diddy, will he continue his freak offs? Because I saw a lot of people talking about, oh, Diddy's parties, it's gonna be bad. Or will he lay low? Y'all let me know in the comment section what you think. How will Diddy move? How should Diddy move? Because it's still tons of lawsuits that are against him, those civil lawsuits and stuff like that. But I know he's rich. I knew that, and I was thinking at first, will people still want to do business with him? We're in the social media era. We're in the social media era, which means that negativity can thrive. So how many podcasters and people who do interviews would want to do business with Diddy right now? The first person to get a interview with Diddy, that's gonna get so many views. Like OJ ran it up after he got acquitted. You know what I'm saying? After he got found not guilty, and he had him a book talking about if I did it. Diddy is a businessman. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious to see how it goes. But if you don't like Diddy, I get it. But that's not what he was on trial for. You not liking him. That's not what he was on trial for. He was on trial for a weak ass RICO case, which was really a Frico case. Now, somebody said this, which was real interesting, and I'm going to show what DJ Vlad said. Shout out to DJ Vlad too. He has me blocked on Instagram. Why? Oh, I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm going to share what DJ Vlad had to say about Cassie, which I 100% agree with. So how Diddy got locked up, or he got found guilty for the prostitution charges, right? Look at what Vlad said. Vlad said Cassie is guilty of the same prostitution charges Diddy was just convicted of. I interviewed 3 of the male escorts. All 3 of them said the same thing. Cassie picked them up. contacted them for freak offs, enjoyed the experiences, and paid them. Meanwhile, she's sitting on $30 million and writing letters to the judge asking him not to give Diddy bail. Now, for those who didn't see it, Cassidy had wrote a letter to the judge, or her attorney, her legal team wrote a letter to the judge saying that they're in fear that Diddy's going to get retaliation on Cassie and all this other stuff. If I was Diddy, that wouldn't be smart, but Diddy does have connections and all this other stuff. But, you know, with the whole Cassie thing, I agree with Vlad on that. If that person, see, this was a one-man RICO, which is fucking ridiculous. This should have been, anyway, this is a one-man RICO, but if the prostitution is what he's in trouble for, you mean to tell me she gets a pass because, oh, he got into her head. He got into her head and coerced her and all this. If y'all don't get off of that, Cassie needs to be locked up too, period. Cassie needs to be locked up. She's a villain in this. I don't care if y'all say that he met her when she was young and all. She was of age. She knew what she was doing. She stayed for 10 years. I don't want to hear it. This ain't no pity party. This is facts, and we are adults. We are adults. So she accompanied him. She assisted him. She should be locked up too, if we're talking about prostitution. But it just goes to show you, man. I want to show y'all this too. These Negroes were outside. Some people were celebrating Diddy's you know, him beating the Frico case. Let's look at see what had happened outside. These fools had a baby oil party. Look at this. Fair use, by the way.
I don't know what she gonna do, y'all.
It says Diddy supporters celebrate outside with baby oil. So you see, they got the baby oil. Look how ridiculous this is. I don't know who that is. They outside the courtroom and they going in with the baby oil. Ain't that something? These Negroes are having baby oil. People are having a party, you know. And like I saw people really say that you know, they're ready for the next Diddy party. Because this is the thing, man. The reality is these sex dungeons are real. These freak offs are real. Real people do them. Real people participate in them. And it's not even just rich people. It's regular, everyday people who work 9 to 5s. Shout out to Ricky, my boy. He looks like Tyron Turner. So shout out to Ricky. He said how he get a prostitution charge and the actual prostitutes don't. Now that's a good ass question. I ain't even think about that. That's super good ass question, my Tyron Turner brother. What you say, Ashley? You said agree. They are all co-conspirators. They wanted it. They enjoyed it. They consented to it. Exactly. It doesn't take a genius to look at that and see that, period. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Diddy. I'm going to say shout out to Diddy because at the end of the day, that's a black man that beat the system with that. Now, some people feel like he's being rewarded because I heard Dr. Umar say this. Shout out to Dr. Umar. He said that there were other people probably on those tapes, but Diddy took it like a G. Diddy didn't snitch on nobody. He didn't try to bring anybody down. Opposed to Jeffrey Epstein, who got unalived because he was ready to take the whole system down with him. Diddy didn't do that. Diddy stood his ground, and Diddy may be getting a slap on the wrist because he was, and he's being rewarded for it. This is what Umar put out there. Shout out to Dr. Umar. I don't know how true that is, but it's very, very, very interesting, to say the least. But yeah, man, where are all the people who, all the Diddy haters? I want y'all to come in here so bad, but y'all quiet as church mice right now. You are. You know what I'm saying? The people who had stuff to say, all the legal, fake ass legal people on my Facebook, where are y'all? And I'm going to leave this video up too. Y'all ain't nowhere to be found. Y'all knew it was stupid, but you want to be a part of the trend. I can't, some of y'all really get on my nerves, but I love y'all at the end of the day. I really do. But some of y'all really do get on my nerves at the end of the day. But yeah, we're going to keep it rolling. Y'all let me know in the comment section what you think about this whole thing. Now, let's move on to another hot topic. I wanted to get a chance to address this right now. So T-Pain has been in the headlines for speaking about Drake. For those who didn't see it, T-Pain. So the title of this is T-Pain Can't Have an Opinion. So what happened? T-Pain just verbally, I don't know what podcast it was on, but I'm going to show you a clip of what T-Pain had to say about Drake and how Drake got into his feelings. No pun intended. All right. So listen to what T-Pain had to say about Drake. Listen to this. Fair use.
The one thing I learned from Drake, And here's the crazy thing. One thing I learned from Drake, but one thing he hasn't followed his own words. Drake said, I want to be one of the people that gracefully bow out and not get kicked out. I have ever since said,
Yeah.
you really thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. I see y'all when I drop. Don't worry about it. I'll just drop something.
Yeah.
Let me know if you heard it.
Fair use, by the way. I don't know whose podcast this is, but shout out to these brothers. We'll keep it going.
Drake is like, no, listen. Okay, I got another one. Hold on, check this out. Check this out. Y'all didn't like that one? Okay, real quick. Just one more. Let me try one more. And then he's the person that he said, he didn't want to be. And I learned that from him.
Okay, so that's all that T-Pain said. And then Drake actually responded. He said, this guy always has resentment for me. You can hear it every time he speaks my name. Now, I don't know what Drake is referring to. I'm not familiar with what T-Pain actually says about Drake, but T-Pain speaks his mind. T-Pain speaks his mind. T-Pain, I don't know if he has a podcast, but I heard him talk about it. I don't see what the problem is what T-Pain said about Drake. All he said was Drake doesn't follow his own advice. Drake has said since he started becoming popular, that he didn't see him rapping past 35. Then 35 came around and look at he's damn near 40. So I don't understand for the Drake stands. Why are y'all so upset about what T-Pain said? What I saw people say is that T-Pain wants Drake to retire. T-Pain wants Drake to quit rapping. T-Pain didn't have as many hits as Drake. T-Pain this, Drake that. And let me address you idiots. Because I'm not even being funny. I feel like a lot of Drake fans are idiots. Real talk. I think that what T-Pain said is just calling Drake out for what Drake said that he was going to do. That's it. All he's saying is what I learned from Drake. Drake said that he was going to do this. He didn't. So what are y'all tripping about? All the Drake stands, the OV hoes, he didn't say he wanted Drake to retire. He didn't say that Drake needs to quit. All he said was what I've learned from Drake is that he doesn't follow his own footsteps. He don't follow what he says. But you have people who are in their feelings and all this other stuff. What you say, Ashley? You said I could be wrong, but all of this could have been avoided with the LAC for a porn company. Everything covered. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Ashley is talking about the Diddy situation for sure. That could have. That's something we could look at. But back to the Drake thing. T-Pain, and one thing that happened is Chris Brown actually stuck up for T-Pain because there was a lot of slander going around T-Pain. There was a lot of people talking trash about T-Pain, saying he didn't have as many hits. Let me tell you something, man. Shout out to Breezy, because Breezy said that T-Pain is a legend and all this other stuff, and he had ran the game for a minute, which is all true. Put some respect on T-Pain's name. T-Pain is one of the dopest live performers that I've ever seen. T-Pain actually ran the music industry, from like what, 06, 07, those were T-Pain years, as far as singing. Everybody wanted T-Pain on their record. T-Pain was booming. It's just what happened is the rap game took his auto-tune, and Jay-Z came and killed the auto-tune temporarily, momentarily, until Future came around. Now, T-Pain did have resentment towards Future, and T-Pain does talk out his neck sometime, but in this one, I think he genuinely was just talking about Drake. Shout out to my godmother, Miss Arnetta Miles, in the building. But the thing is, I don't see a problem with what he said. Drake has some of the most idiotic, sensitive fans out there, and they don't like. It's like they lack logic. And it's like, if you listen to what he said, he's critiquing him. Now, if you say that, if you want to defend and say, man, people change their minds all the time, people will say this and then say something else the next day, I get that 100%. But don't get it out of proper context. T-Pain did not say he wanted Drake to retire. And I would have loved to hear the clip before that to see how they got into this conversation. But from what I've seen, all it looks like is that he was just saying Drake isn't ready to retire. Follow your own advice. He just calling him out on that. What's wrong with calling somebody out on that? Okay. But you're going to respect T-Pain. Now, T-Pain can't make a hit these days. Auto-tuned. He sounds, to me, in my opinion, T-Pain sounds too much like 2006, 2005, 2007. And even the songs that he has that came out, they just don't, to me, they just don't sound modern. he has a dated sound with how he does the auto tune, which isn't his fault. But we're not gonna act like T-Pain isn't one of the dopest artists that ever came out. He revolutionized auto tune as we knew it. Was auto tune used before T-Pain? Absolutely, but nobody did it like T-Pain outside of Future. I'll say I give Future that, but what T-Pain did, if T-Pain didn't come out, we wouldn't have had a Future. If T-Pain didn't come out, we may have not even had a Drake, to be honest. To be honest, like, you know what I'm saying? This because Drake utilized the auto-tune. A lot of people did. But y'all need to put some respect on T-Pain's name. You really, really do at the end of the day. So we have to give T-Pain his flowers. I don't think there's anything wrong with an artist speaking their mind. And see, the thing is, because I get this too. You know, when people disagree with me, J Red, you know, the first thing they'll do is go and see the link in my bio and see that I rap, that I'm a hip hop artist. And what do? They'll look at my streams. They'll look at my Spotify streams and Spotify followers and stuff like that. Just like that's the only streams that I get. There are other streaming platforms that you get, you know what I'm saying? Or as if I put out music this year, which I have some more music coming out. Ashley, Once 3 is on the way, by the way. Ashley, if you're watching, Once 3 is on the way. But yeah, exactly. It's like they look at you and try to belittle you. Even if you have 1 million views, right? They'll say, well, you don't have 2 million views. You know what I'm saying? If I have 100 comments and people are talking about how much they like my video and stuff, a hater will be like, well, you don't have 300,000 comments or just whatever. They'll just say anything. You know what I'm saying? So people will talk trash about you just to fit a narrative, you know, and support somebody they like. You said Crash Dummies Podcast. What is that? Kia, what is Crash Dummies Podcast? But anyway, yeah, put some respect on T-Pain's name, which leads me to this about Drake. Now, this is just me. This is J Red's thoughts. These are my opinions. That's why this show that you're watching is called Red's View. All right. I think that the Drake stimulus is dead. I think that the Drake stimulus is dead. Now, OVO hoes, listen, I'm not saying that Drake's career is dead. I'm not saying Drake's career is over. I'm talking about his stimulus package, as y'all like to say. What I'm talking about is that you remember last year before the beef, what happened? Drake gets on your record, it's going to be number one. Drake gets on your record, you're going to get a lot of shine, spotlight, whatever the case may be. But now when you look at it, Drake isn't the hit maker he used to be. All right. And when you had that Drake stimulus, they called it a stimulus package because you get so much exposure, you get so much notoriety, and you're guaranteed to have a top 10 record. That isn't the case. That isn't the case anymore. And I think that, thank you for that like, by the way. I think that Drake's fans right now, I don't think that his career is over. What I think is that the culture and the hip hop community has chosen another people's champ, who is Kendrick Lamar. Who is Kendrick Lamar? Kendrick Lamar was the winner of the battle. Kendrick Lamar makes the better music currently. Drake hasn't been able to get back on his feet all the way. Now, he's had a couple of hits. He's had Nokia. That did real good, but it didn't have the same staying power as his other records did. It didn't shoot up to the charts immediately. It took time. Drake had to work the record. He has a pending case with his record label going on right now. What I'm saying is Drake used to be able to collab with people. Right now, if a person collabs with Drake, it might do more hurt than harm because he has a stain on his career. And the people who are really holding Drake up, when you think about it, is his fan base. The people who are really holding Drake up right now isn't the hip hop community. It's primarily Drake's fan base. Now, he has millions of fans, but you can lean on that just like Nicki Minaj. People moved on from Nicki Minaj. You know, her barbs go to bat for her. They're going to make sure she gets the numbers and all this other stuff. But when you go around, you don't see people listening to Nicki Minaj as much as they used to when you're looking at. Yeah, shout out to Ashley. Yep, Once 3 on the way. And then Kia, you got to tell me what Crash Dummies podcast. Oh, that was Crash Dummies podcast you talking about with T-Pain. That T-Pain was on. Okay, that's what you're talking about. Shout out to Crash Dummies podcast. Thank you, Kia. I didn't know exactly what you were talking about. I thought you were calling me for a dummy for me. Love you, Kia. But yeah, so it used to be a point, like you remember when Ja Rule, because I compared Drake and Ja Rule together. Now, Ja Rule, his career wasn't well, his career was over, but I feel like it's because he stopped. But nobody wanted to really collab with Ja Rule like that. You know what I'm saying? And because if you did, what was gonna happen? 50 was gonna get on you. But with Drake, I mean, I'm not looking forward to this Iceman album. You can call me a hater all day, but I'm not looking forward to it. Not because I think Drake is a bad artist. I just think that Drake is a stale artist. And if you look at an artist right now, would it be beneficial to have a Drake feature? What will it do for you? Now, as an independent artist, it could be a good thing, but the main thing is people are going to look to see if he disses Kendrick on it. But I think that Drake lost his staying power. His fans are the only ones that are keeping him afloat right now. Kendrick is the people's champ. Will that last forever? No, it won't. You know, fans are fickle. But right now, the leader, the person that everybody's going to that's selling out stadiums is Kendrick. And I don't think that Drake stands or fans can really understand that. But yeah, it used to be a point where Drake, gets on your feature and stuff. Now, if somebody like me, if Drake got on my song, it could do wonders for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm independent. But if it's somebody mainstream, like if Meek Mill gets a Drake feature, if Rick Ross, well, they beefing. Drake beefing with everybody. Who could really benefit off of that right now? You know what I'm saying? And then did y'all see when Drake showed up to what's that country singer's name? Morgan Wallen. Ain't that his name? And I didn't even know the dude was racist and said racist things, but I saw that Drake, culture vultured his way to the country concert that he was at. But yeah, Aubrey just don't have it no more. That's what I've noticed. It's real interesting when you look at how the paradigm has shifted. But I think with this Iceman album, it's going to be the same redundant Drake that we've been hearing for the last few years. I don't think he's going to do anything fascinating. Now, will it chart high, go number one? Yep. Will it have a strong first week? Yes. But I don't think that it's going to be as successful as his previous, and it won't have that Drake effect where he's going to put out a bunch of hits and we'll have another Scorpion situation. You feel what I'm saying? I don't think it's going to be like that. But I do think that most people are going to listen to it just to either hate on it or to see if he talks about Kendrick. But that Drake stimulus, it's a wrap. It's out of here. That's what I feel. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think about that. The next thing I want to talk about, so the best rap group in the world, the best rap group of all time, Bone Thugs-n-Harmony, will receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Man, oh man, am I excited about that? Am I proud for my boys about that? Let me show y'all this. So yeah, this was on Lazy's Instagram. Shout out to all my Bone fans out here. It's just been announced that Bone Thugs-n-Harmony is officially in the Hollywood Walk of Fame 2026. Oh, so it's next year, along with the likes of Shaq, Miley Cyrus, the Clark sisters, Demi Moore, just to name a few. All right. So you see it right here. Read it and weep. The recording is Air Supply, Bone Thugs, Miley Cyrus, all them. So, man, this is monumental. If you didn't think that they're the best rap group of all time, you know now. This has been a long time coming from them, and then this just further cements their legacy because I thought that it was big when they had the street named after them. Bone Thugs-n-Harmony Way on East 99 back in Cleveland. But this right here solidifies them, period. To get a walk on the Hollywood Walk of Fame is just as big as getting a Grammy. Which one is bigger, getting a Grammy or Hollywood Walk of Fame? I think Hollywood Walk of Fame because that's something like everybody can get a Grammy. Everybody can't get a Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's stuff that people dream about. People dream about Grammys, but that Hollywood Walk of Fame, that just, man. So I couldn't be more happier for them. I am going on the Bone and 3-6 tour that's going to be here in Atlanta or Alpharetta, however you want to call it. That's going to be in September. But shout out to all the Bone fans that have been supportive of this channel and then supportive of them as well. You can see East 1999 Eternal back here. That is always going to be on my wall. My favorite hip hop album of all time. If you know me, you know I'm a big Bone fan. So yeah, I think that this is a great look for them. And shout out to Greenback Records because I'm quite sure they may have had a handle in this, Greenback Records is a great look for them, and they have a new album coming out. So I'm excited to see exactly what's coming forward. You know what I'm saying? Drop a comment and let me know what's your favorite Bone Thugs song of all time. Drop it in the comment section and let me know what's your favorite Bone song. So 2026, the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I'm sure Crazy, Lazy, Busy, Wish, and Flesh, the Thugs, the original Thugsters, Easy E's proteges are real amped up about this. And like I said, it further cements their legacy. And I will debate someone all day about Bone being the best rap group of all time. Nobody did it like them. Nobody had the style like them. Those dudes revolutionized the rap game and the music industry in general. The music industry in general. R&B, pop, country, you name it. Rock, all of that. So shout out to the Thugs, man. Shout out to the Thugs. All right, so the last thing that I want to get into, all right, I'm going to play a clip of you for you all. Salute the Bone Thugs. All right, so I'm going to play a clip for you all real quick about Guy. Is Guy the best? Is Guy the greatest male R&B group of all time? Let me make sure I fix that too. Hold on, y'all. Let me fix that. Greatest. The world's greatest. Shout out to R. Kelly. All right, yeah. So Guy is the greatest male group of all time. Male R&B group. Let me show you what Damian Hall. Shout out to the legendary Damian Hall, Aaron Hall's brother of the group Guy. Let me let y'all hear. He was on Holding Court's podcast. Shout out to Big Court. So listen to what he said right here. Fair use, Court. I'm giving you your flowers. Shout out to your podcast. You know I'm a subscriber and you know I comment. But shout out to you, Fair Use. Listen to this.
Guy.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Let me go back. Let me play for you.
There is no group better than Guy.
Mm-hmm. Flat out.
Period.
So hold on, OG. No group better than Guy.
Nope.
The Jacksons.
No, listen. Stop.
I'm just saying. I'm finna go down the logic.
Stop.
You know what I mean?
No, stop. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
From when I came in
Yeah.
to where we are.
Okay.
Mhm.
Again, two groups that will always be my everything.
Yeah. New Edition
and Tony.
Tony.
Mm.
All these other groups.
So you're giving it to mint condition.
What? Okay. I'm gonna say one thing.
Shout out to Damian Hall. Y'all let me know what you're thinking. I'm gonna respond to this, but this is very interesting.
Stokely's one of the dopest musicians on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, who played with him, if you ever saw them perform stage as musicians, they were incredible.
Yeah.
I say one thing to people when people ask me this question. It's not cocky, it's just real. Did we ever open up for them niggas?
And he's so confident what he's saying too. Shout out to the OG.
Oh my God.
No.
True.
What?
True.
True can flip, dance, do all that. When they came out, Spread My Wings. I love them all. They're
Spread my
peoples.
wings, Mamacita.
They did all the things.
All
I
I
like
do
this.
is think about
they did
you.
all that. Did we open up for True? You ask them niggas.
Yeah.
Listen to me. I'm real with mine, bro.
Yeah.
Ask them.
Yeah.
When we go on who's that group.
Mm.
See, Teddy ain't even gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
This is very interesting because I think he has a good argument. Let's keep watching.
Teddy be like, man, I love everybody. I love everybody too.
Yeah.
I'm literally friends with all these guys.
Yeah. We talking music.
No, I'm friends.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
Nigga, please stop. Y'all niggas ain't on our level, bro. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't care how great. Everybody got great songs, bro.
That's a fact.
And everybody got swag and everybody got their audience. But I always say this, and I say, look, every now and again, it ain't always great to be the headliner.
Fair use, by the way, fair use.
But I tell people this all the time. When we didn't headline, like really when we didn't headline, ask the groups what happened, bro.
Yeah.
No, this is real.
Yeah.
It's not me saying anything that's not real.
All right, so that's pretty much what he said. And he commented under this post. He said, unless you live my life and understand my walk, you might not understand. But the years it took us to be great, I dare not allow anyone to undermine our greatness. Love you all the support. And you see the group Silk right here, put the cap with, the laughing emojis and stuff like that. So let's talk about it. Is Guy, look at Ashley, she said what? Do you feel like Guy is the greatest male R&B group of all time? Now, here's what I got to say about it. I think they have a good argument. I think that they might have a good argument. And I might be a little biased because I would say my personal favorite male R&B group probably is Guy. That's right, I said it. I think that Guy might be my favorite male R&B group. Now, this is the reason why I said he probably has a good argument. Let's look at what Guy has done. They ushered in the New Jack Swing era. Like they started that Teddy Riley. Teddy Riley, they have one of the greatest R&B hip hop producers of all time within their group. And from that one album, which is up on my wall, from that one album, they have several hits that weren't even official singles. Okay. They had several hits that weren't even official singles, and they've created one of the best R&B songs of all time called Let's Chill. They still play Let's Chill at weddings. People play Let's Chill. That's my favorite R&B song of all time. Now, the first thing that people are going to say, they're going to bring up Jodeci, just like Kia did. She brought up Jodeci. Okay. Interesting. Let's talk about Jodeci versus Guy. Now, I'm not mad if somebody puts Jodeci over Guy. I'm not mad if somebody puts Guy over Jodeci. The difference between Guy and Jodeci, let's talk about the plus side of Jodeci. Jodeci defined the 90s R&B group sound. They defined the image. They were kind of the first to do what they did. However, Jodeci didn't have as much range as other male R&B groups. Meaning, what Jodeci songs are, what are they known for? More of the seductive, sexual, making love songs. That's what they're known for the most, which were classics. But if you compare Jodeci to Boys to Men, if you compare Jodeci to Guy has songs that'll make you get up and dance. Guy has breakup songs with Goodbye Love. Guy also has love ballads, and they have sexy songs. Jodeci has a limited catalog or limited content of what songs they have. You know what I'm saying? But they're still one of the greatest male R&B groups ever. They're legendary. This is the other reason why Damian Hall. This is the other reason why Damian Hall has a good point. And today, over the years, since Guy came out, Jodeci came out, all these male R&B groups came out of the late 80s, early 90s. Who do people sample the most? Who do people sample the most out between Guy and Jodeci? Who gets sampled the most? It's not Jodeci. Just saying. I've heard several samples of Piece of My Love. I've heard several samples of Goodbye Love. You know what I'm saying? I've heard samples way more from Guy. They're the most sampled male R&B group of like the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, whatever. People don't sample Jagged Edge records. People don't sample Jodeci records like that. People don't. They have before, but Guy, come on now. Piece of My Love. I've heard that several times being sampled. Guy ushered in a new sound. It wouldn't be no Jodeci without Guy. It wouldn't be a Drew Hill without Guy. Blackstreet. There wouldn't be a Blackstreet without Guy because Teddy, after he left Guy, he went to Blackstreet. So Guy is the root of what was to come. From New Jack Swing to they redefined what male R&B was. They had it on that one album that's on my wall right here. They have several hits that have been sampled. Goodbye Love, I Like, Piece of My Love, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let's Chill then got sampled a lot. I'm just saying he has a good argument. I'm not saying that they are because it's debatable. Because when you first hear, you're like, oh no. Then I think it depends on generations too, because Guy came out in the late 80s, going into the 90s, and then they stopped in 1990. Then they got back together way later. Jodeci came in like 1990, 1991, and they had like 3 albums, I want to say, and then they stopped. But in comparison, I'm just comparing. If you're talking about culturally, Guy gets sampled more than Boys to Men, Drew Hill, High Five, H-Town. Let's be honest, Troop. He has a valid point. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna name my favorite male R&B groups, and this isn't in any particular order. I don't think so, but these are my top 5. And y'all let me know your top 5s in the comments. Ashley, Kia, whoever's watching, y'all let me know who are y'all top 5 male R&B groups, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm only gonna talk about late 80s, early 90s. Now, let me say this too. I'm not gonna count in, like I said, the Temptations, the Jackson 5. That's before my time. I listen to those records. I love them. Temptations arguably is the best male R&B group of all time. I'm talking about just all together. But for the sake of discussion, we're talking about the 90s era. Okay. So me, from what I grew up listening to, I have Guy, Jodeci, Drew Hill, Tony. And the number 5 spot is kind of tough. It's between H-Town and Jagged Edge. Let me name mine again. Guy, Jodeci, Drew Hill, Tony, and between H-Town and Jagged Edge. I might give it to H-Town over Jagged Edge, but I don't know, because H-Town was strong. Now, look, I love all the male R&B groups in the 90s. If you were a male R&B group in the 90s, I pretty much like you. I love High Five too. I love High Five. I like Intro. What y'all know about that intro? Let me come inside if you let me. Love that. LSG. Now, New Edition. I know people will bring up New Edition. My thing with New Edition is I love New Edition, but I love them as a unit more than just a group, if that makes sense. New Edition is higher than all of them. Let's just be honest, because it wouldn't be a guy without New Edition. But New Edition were stronger, in my opinion, separately than they were together. The only time they were real strong, together, and this is my personal hold on, y'all. There's still plenty of snacks and beverages, but the piece is gone. Yeah. So my personal preference, I lost my train of thought. But New Edition. New Edition, that Heartbreak album, classic, right? It had the songs that redefine them, but I don't be going to listen to Candy Girl like that. You know what I'm saying? Their earlier stuff, I like the singles, but that like as far as the album, man, that Heartbreak is where it is for me. But they are more like Voltron and in a conglomerate than just a male R&B group like that. Like New Edition is just on a different level. It's hard to even put them in the same category with all the male R&B artists that I named. But when you're talking about Guy and Drew Hill and all of them, like now, some people bring up Boys to Men too. You know what I'm saying? Like Boys to Men, they're my top 10. Not gonna say top 5, but I do love some Boys to Men records. But they had a lot of simpish records, to be honest. Jodeci did too. Theirs just was more sensual, seductive type. You know what I'm saying? Because Cry For You is one of the biggest simp songs ever. Fiending is one of the biggest simp songs ever. Take my money, my house, and my car. For one hit of you, you can have it all. Come on now. But yeah, all I'm saying is Damian Hall has a very, very good argument. That's all I'm saying. So y'all let me know in the comments. So Kia, you gonna say Jodeci. Ashley, what are your top 5? Y'all let me know who are y'all top 5 male R&B groups. Again, mine, Guy, Jodeci, Drew Hill, Tony, and between H-Town and Jagged Edge, because I love their music. And I love High Five. Shout out to Intro, Men of Vision. There's a lot of them. So who you got? You said Jodeci, Guy, Boys to Men, Drew Hill, Tony. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. So you don't have H-Town on there. So we like some of the same music. Yeah, we like the same groups. I love Tony. That's a hard one too, because Tony, man, and between them, it's real hard. It's a real hard list to really go at. I love Tony, but Guy may be my number 1, me personally. I love Piece of My Love. I love Teddy's Jam. I'm a big New Jack Swing fan. And then Let's Chill is my favorite male R&B song ever. Probably R&B song ever. You know what I'm saying? Oh, shout out to Soul For Real. I love Soul For Real. Love Soul For Real. Who you got? You got Guy, Silk. Oh, How the hell I forget Silk? Guy, Silk, Blackstreet, High Five, Jodeci. Great picks. I love High Five. So Silk is in my top 10. High Five definitely is in my top 10. Blackstreet, yeah, we forgot about Silk, man. Put some respect on Silk's name. God, dog. Forgot all about Silk. But Silk, I only like, me personally, I only like 2 songs from Silk. I love Freak Me and I love Meeting in My Bedroom. If You was cool, but you know, Silk don't have as many songs I like, but the songs that I do like legendary. But Silk, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. But High Five, y'all need to put some respect on High Five's name. High Five got some hits. High Five got some hits. And it's always a battle between High Five, Jodeci. I'm sorry, High Five, H-Town, or Jagged Edge. But I love Jagged Edge too. But Drew Hill, love Drew Hill. But yeah, Damien definitely has an argument. There are no male R&B groups of that era that are sampled more than Guy, period. They got sampled in rap, R&B, all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, but I had a good time with y'all tonight. Thank you, Kia. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Me and Kia, we've been in the inbox going in on Instagram, going back and forth about this Diddy situation. I'm just glad that it's over. Okay. Oh, so your honorable mentions: Drew Hill, Boyz II Men, Tony. Absolutely. But yeah, man, I had fun with y'all. Y'all make sure that you subscribe to the official YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/ResView. Shame on y'all who are going against Diddy for this weak ass case. I'm glad that it's over. But thank you all of my supporters. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, which is youtube.com/ResView. And also make sure that you go to Who Gave You a Podcast. That's my latest joint podcast with CJ, aka Animal Brown. So go to Who Gave You a Podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/Who Gave You a Podcast. You can follow us on TikTok and Instagram with Who Gave You a Pod. And man, what you say? I do not like 112. Too trendy for me. Yeah, I didn't like 112. Oh, I ain't gonna say I didn't like 112. I like some of. I like We Can Do It Anywhere. I like what's the song? Cupid, Love Cupid. But 112, they were too kind of poppy for me. I don't know. You said Silk's Tonight album. Yeah, y'all talking about some real R&B tonight. But yeah, 112, they had their, share of songs, but it's only like 2 songs I like from them for real. I love Cupid and I love Anywhere. I'm trying to see if it's another song that I really, really dig from them. Let me see. Oh, Peaches and Cream was cool. It's over now. I like that. Yeah. Oh, and You Already Know. I forgot about that. I like You Already Know. Yeah. So that was dope. What make you think this case was weak? All right. So listen, Coach Johnson, shout out to you, Five. But I went over that. You got to catch the replay. It's gonna be posted on Facebook. The replay. Shout out to the replay game because I went through all of it. But you'll see it. Just play it back in the beginning, like the first 30 minutes. I talked about it all. But like I said, man, I got some other stuff to do. Finishing up this album. Once 3 is on the way. That's the latest J Red album that is in the works. So make sure that you look for that. Again, go to Who Gave You a Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to that. And I will see you on the next episode of ResView. Peace, everybody.